Welcome to this training video, and thank you for being here to learn more about how to provide support and affirmation to LGBTQ+ youth. We're excited to share with you some effective strategies so that you can apply and practice them in your peer support network. These strategies come from research findings and clinical guidelines provided by professional organizations such as the American Psychological Association. Now, before we start, we want to provide you with a case example so that you can think about how to apply these strategies directly to support LGBTQ+ youth. And we'll refer back to this case as we describe various strategies. So let's get started. Let's get to know Alexis. Alexis is a 16-year-old sophomore student at a high school in San Francisco. Alexis was assigned female at birth, but identifies as gender non-binary. They realized that they were non-binary because their experience of gender didn't fit in with societal expectations of what it means to be a boy or be a girl. They've recently started using they/them pronouns with some close friends, but not publicly. They're sexually and romantically attracted to people of different genders, and they identify as queer and bisexual. In addition, Alexis was born in California, but their parents immigrated from Mexico and work in agriculture. Alexis's parents primarily speak Spanish and go to church regularly. Alexis was named Adriana by their parents, but they choose to go by Alexis. They are close to their family, but they find it very hard to discuss their sexuality and their gender identity with their parents and relatives. So they usually stay quiet at family gatherings, and their family just generally thinks they're too shy and reserved. Alexis feels lonely and isolated at school, but enjoys math, and they like playing soccer, playing guitar, and writing poetry in their spare time. Now you've gotten to know Alexis. I want to ask, what are some stressors you think they may experience on a daily basis? What questions would you like to ask Alexis? And how could you support them? You're invited to pause the video and reflect for a few minutes before we continue. Now that we've reflected, let's move into the 7 things that you can do to better support Alexis. First, use inclusive language and affirming language. Affirming language is important when working with LGBTQ+ youth like Alexis because it validates their identity, fosters trust, and creates a safe environment for open communication. Adolescence is a pivotal time for identity exploration, during which LGBTQ+ youth may face pressures, stigma, or invalidation regarding their gender identity and/or sexual orientation. Using affirming language demonstrates respect and empathy, which are foundational to building a safe and supportive relationship in counseling. To enhance your understanding, we encourage you to review the glossary of common identity labels and vocabulary frequently used by LGBTQ+ youth, which can be found at the end of this video. You can also share this information with LGBTQ+ youth if you think it's helpful for them. For Alexis, using their chosen name and pronouns, which is they/them, can contribute to a sense of relief and belonging, signaling that they don't have to educate you or defend their identity. This practice is particularly meaningful for LGBTQ+ youth, as names and pronouns are often deeply tied to their sense of self. Using the correct ones validates their lived experience and affirms that they are seen and accepted for who they are. This affirmation not only fosters a healthy sense of self, but also encourages the development of self-confidence and self-worth, reinforcing that their identity is valid and that you respect it. You can show your respect to LGBTQ+ youth by asking, "What name and pronouns would you like me to use for you?" This lets them know that this is important to you. It's important that you use their chosen name and pronouns. You can also tell them that you want them to correct you if you ever make a mistake, or if it seems like you're not understanding them. Mistakes can happen, even with good intentions. And if one occurs, you can correct it quickly and move on without making it a focus. For instance, you might say, "I'm sorry, I meant they." You can also thank the youth for sharing their pronouns and correcting you, reinforcing that you respect and value their input about their own identity. Although using affirming language can promote self-acceptance, the opposite, misgendering or using incorrect pronouns, can lead to feelings of rejection, dysphoria, or distress for LGBTQ+ youth. Using non-affirming language may also reinforce the anti-LGBTQ+ messages youth have heard across their lives, making it harder for LGBTQ+ youth to fully embrace their identity. Finally, affirming language goes above and beyond names and pronouns. It encompasses the overall way you communicate to show respect, validate experiences, and create a sense of belonging. Affirming communication should also be paired with open, accepting body language and a warm, non-judgmental tone. The way words are spoken can have as much impact as the words themselves. Additionally, mirroring the language that LGBTQ+ youth use to describe their identities can be a powerful way to show you understand and respect them. Consider stepping into the youth's lived experience to infer what they might be going through and how they might feel about their identity. Use your genuine words to reassure them that it's safe and okay to be their true, authentic self with you. The next thing you can do is create a safe and non-judgmental space. Creating a safe and non-judgmental space is essential when supporting LGBTQ+ youth. Feeling safe encourages people to open up, share their experiences, and express their emotions honestly. A judgment-free environment helps foster trust, allowing people to explore topics without fear of criticism or rejection. By actively listening and affirming LGBTQ+ youth's experiences, you can create an atmosphere where they feel valued and understood. It's important to start conversations by asking how the space can best meet their needs. You can say something like, "As we talk today, feel free to let me know at any time if there's anything I can do to help make you feel more comfortable." This statement encourages youth to share their preferences and really allows them to set the tone for open and supportive communication. Reassuring phrases such as, "You can share as much or as little as you feel comfortable with," or, "There's no right or wrong way to say things or utilize this peer support space." These comments and suggestions serve to validate their experiences and reinforce that they are in control of the conversation. Although different LGBTQ+ people share similar struggles, it's important to know that LGBTQ+ youth's experiences and identities are also unique and multifaceted. For instance, lesbian women and gay men are both attracted to people of the same gender, but can have very different experiences related to their gender. Open-ended questions like, "How do you describe your sexuality and or your gender?" Or, "What aspects of your identity do you feel are most important to you right now?" These comments invite youth to share their perspectives without judgment. By creating space for them to define and explain their identities, peer counselors can foster an environment of acceptance and respect. This approach not only validates their self-expression, but also encourages exploration and pride in who they are, helping them feel understood and valued for their authentic selves. It's critical to avoid connecting LGBTQ+ people's mental health concerns solely to being LGBTQ+. While LGBTQ+ youth as a whole experience greater mental health concerns than heterosexuals and cisgender individuals, such as depression and anxiety, any LGBTQ+ youth's mental health at any given time is not always and wholly due to stressful experiences related to their sexual orientation and or gender identity. For some LGBTQ+ youth, feelings of depression and anxiety may be related to how others treat them because of their identity. For others, depression and anxiety may be the result of a range of other factors, like feeling overwhelmed with homework and exams, or struggling to balance schoolwork and family responsibilities. Asking questions like, "How important is your sexual orientation or gender identity to you?" These questions allow LGBTQ+ youth to guide the conversation and ensures that their experiences are recognized without biases or assumptions. Asking these questions allow youth to identify where their stress is coming from, be it tied to their sexual orientation or gender identity or not. A third thing that you can do is validate experiences of stigma and discrimination. Many LGBTQ+ youth navigate environments that may dismiss or invalidate their identities, and this can lead to feelings of loneliness, isolation, and self-doubt. By acknowledging and affirming LGBTQ+ youth's challenges, you can create a supportive space where youth feel seen, valued, and empowered to share their experiences openly. Some LGBTQ+ youth may expect to be met with dismissal or minimization when they share experiences of discrimination. Responding with affirmation can reduce this expectation and foster a sense of safety. Validating their challenging experiences shows that you are empathetic, attentive, and committed to really understanding their unique perspective. Say if you were working with Alexis, you could ask them questions to understand more about their experiences of stigma and discrimination, such as, what makes you feel lonely and isolated at school? Or you could ask, as you've come to realize that you're non-binary, has anything been challenging for you? Then after listening to Alexis's experiences related to their LGBTQ+ identities, you can validate any difficult experiences by saying things like, that sounds really difficult. It's not fair that you had to go through that. Or, you don't deserve to be treated like that, and I am here to support you however I can. Furthermore, if Alexis has shared some difficult emotions with you, you can reassure them that their feelings are valid and make sense given the circumstances. For instance, you could say, what you're feeling is completely valid, of course. Anyone would feel sad, upset, or angry if they were treated that way. Another thing you can do to support your LGBTQ+ youth is acknowledge and embrace intersectionality. This is essential when working with youth in this population, as their experiences are shaped by multiple overlapping identities and social factors. Intersectionality highlights how characteristics such as race, ethnicity, ability, socioeconomic status, religion, immigration status, all intersect with sexual orientation and gender identity. And they can create unique challenges, but also strengths. Take Alexis as an example again. Some of their intersecting identities include being non-binary, queer, bisexual, a first-generation Mexican American, and someone who comes from a low socioeconomic background. LGBTQ+ youth like Alexis may face compounded discrimination or marginalization, such as experiencing racism within the LGBTQ+ community, or discrimination related to their gender identity or sexual orientation within their cultural and religious communities. Recognizing these complexities allows peer counselors to provide more empathetic and personalized support. It's important that you as a peer counselor try to create a space for youth to explore how different aspects of their identities interact. Open-ended questions such as, how do people in your family, friend group, or others in your community think about LGBTQ+ people? This question can encourage youth to reflect on their lived experiences and create an understanding of how these intersecting experiences might be impacting their sense of self. Similarly, asking questions like, are there times when you feel like you have to hide who you are in order to be accepted in certain spaces or communities? This kind of question can allow people to share their experiences of marginalization or share their internal conflict. These conversations can validate an LGBTQ+ youth's struggles and show that you recognize their true self and the difficulties sometimes. It's also critical to affirm that LGBTQ+ youth might feel conflicted or misunderstood about balancing different aspects of their lived experience. For instance, the families of some LGBTQ+ youth may struggle to accept the youth's sexual orientation and/or gender identity, say due to religious beliefs or cultural traditions. Alexis has difficulty sharing their non-binary identity with their parents because they want Alexis to act like a girl, using phrases like, your experiences are valid, and they're shaped by many important aspects of who you are, or saying something along the lines of, it makes sense that you feel stressed about all of these conflicting expectations. These statements from you help normalize these feelings and provide reassurance. You can also acknowledge your client's strengths and affirm their multifaceted identity by saying something like, you've shown so much strength in navigating these challenging situations. What has helped you feel good about your identity? These kind of questions can empower youth to reflect on their strength and explore ways to better embrace their unique journey with confidence. Ultimately, embracing intersectionality means supporting LGBTQ+ youth as they navigate sometimes competing expectations about who they should be while helping them recognize their internal strengths in facing these challenges. By considering the whole person and the multiple systems that affect them, peer counselors can help LGBTQ+ youth feel seen, valued, and supported across all aspects of who they are. Now, feel free to pause the video for a moment and think about what you would want to say to Alexis, to acknowledge and support their intersecting identities. Now, moving on. The fifth thing that you can do to better support your LGBTQ+ client is recognize and address negative attitudes towards LGBTQ+ individuals. These prejudices often come from harmful stereotypes, cultural beliefs, media portrayals, or societal misconceptions, and they can seriously affect mental health and self-esteem of LGBTQ+ youth. Negative attitudes towards transgender and non-binary people can lead to dismissing their identities, misgendering them, or insisting that gender is only male and female. This can show up in commonly used phrases like ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, which are meant to be all-inclusive but leave out non-binary folks. Biases against bisexuals often involve stereotypes such as calling bisexuality just a phase, or assuming it's just reflecting sexual promiscuity. Similarly, hostility or prejudice towards gay and lesbian individuals is often linked to societal or religious norms, such as assuming that everyone is or should be heterosexual. Challenging these biases directly can help LGBTQ+ youth feel understood, respected, and valued. LGBTQ+ youth navigating these forms of negativity might internalize the negative messages that they receive from family, school, social media, or religious and other community spaces. For example, a teenager who is constantly told that bisexual people are confused or greedy may begin to doubt their identity or feel pressure to only express their attraction to one or the other gender. Likewise, transgender and non-binary youth may experience invalidation when their gender is questioned or even erased. As a result, they may feel scared to wear the clothes or hairstyle that they feel most comfortable with. These external pressures can lead to feelings of shame, anxiety, or loneliness. By actively challenging negative societal messages, counselors can help LGBTQ+ youth recognize that these biases are rooted in societal prejudice and not their own worth or validity. Providing affirmations can be an effective way to counter negativity and foster resilience and self-acceptance. Asking open-ended questions like, what do you enjoy most about being bisexual, transgender, or lesbian? Or asking things such as, are there times when you've felt validated because of who you are? These questions help shift their focus to the positive aspects of their identity and helps foster pride. Offering phrases such as, your identity is valid and doesn't need to fit into anyone else's expectations can help reinforce people's intrinsic worth and courage. In addition to affirming LGBTQ+ youth's identity, you can also guide youth in navigating situations where they encounter anti-LGBTQ+ messages and behaviors. It's helpful to first understand what coping strategies youth currently use by asking things like, people have various ways of responding to being mistreated because of their identity. What have you done on your own to cope with challenges that you've described? After validating their responses, discussing ways to respond to hurtful comments or connecting them to supportive communities can provide a sense of empowerment. Encouraging discussions like, let's talk about ways you can respond or find support when you encounter hurtful comments, and, are there times when you feel supported and accepted? Can remind them that they're not alone, that they may have coped successfully in the past, and that resources and allies are available. By addressing these challenges directly and drawing upon the youth's own internal resources deployed during past challenges, counselors can create a space where LGBTQ+ youth feel affirmed, validated, and equipped to face societal biases with confidence and resilience. The sixth thing that you can do to better support LGBTQ+ youth is evaluate social environments and promote something called social safety. Social environments such as schools, workplaces, religious settings, and families play a crucial role in shaping the experiences of LGBTQ+ youth. These spaces can affirm their identities and foster a sense of belonging, or perpetuate stigma, rejection, and promote isolation. Peer counselors can help youth assess their environments that they spend time in to better identify supportive spaces and navigate hostile or invalidating ones. By evaluating the contexts and spaces that youth spend their time, you can gain insight into the youth's day-to-day challenges and opportunities for growth, offering tailored approaches to support their well-being. It's important to assess whether LGBTQ+ youth encounter acceptance and where they face rejection, as these experiences shape their mental health. LGBTQ+ youth encounter varying levels of acceptance depending on the environment. Families, for instance, can be a source of unconditional love and support, but they can also be a place of misunderstanding and rejection. Similarly, schools might offer inclusive clubs or policies, but can also expose youth to bullying or exclusion. Religious spaces may provide a sense of community and support, but can also feel alienating or judgmental based on beliefs. Workplaces, particularly for youth, may offer independence and validation, but can also pose challenges with discrimination and/or microaggressions. Evaluating all of these environments provides insight into how these factors impact youth mental health and identity development. Asking open-ended questions like, are there people and spaces where you feel particularly accepted or rejected? Invite LGBTQ+ youth to reflect on how their environments and experiences might be affecting their sense of self. This encourages them to share both positive and negative experiences, helping you identify areas where they may need additional support. For instance, if a youth feels unsafe at school, you can work with them to explore solutions, such as identifying affirming teachers or engaging with LGBTQ+ student groups. Similarly, if a religious place feels hostile, you can affirm the youth's right to their beliefs, while also brainstorming alternative, more inclusive communities. Using affirming statements like, finding spaces where you're valued can make a big difference for your well-being, emphasizes the importance of cultivating positive social environments and safety. These safe spaces can provide essential emotional support and can affirm their individual identities, and can even counteract the negative experiences faced elsewhere. Additionally, encouraging youth to seek out or build affirming spaces empowers them to take an active role in their social well-being. Whether this is joining an LGBTQ+ club, connecting with like-minded peers, looking for role models, or advocating for change, these steps can enhance their sense of belonging and enhance resilience. Another way to promote social safety for LGBTQ+ youth is to help them identify and connect with supportive community resources. You can encourage them to explore and identify school or community resources that align with their needs, thereby expressing your belief in their internal agency to find and build support in their own lives. For example, you could encourage them to identify supportive teachers, counselors, and staff at their school who can serve as allies. Additionally, you can help them research LGBTQ+ affirming mental health services or just health services and providers in their area to ensure that they have access to competent care. Encouraging participation in LGBTQ+ community events can also foster connection and belonging. If local resources are limited in the area, you can also help them find online support groups. Some LGBTQ+ youth may prefer online resources due to their convenience and the added sense of privacy that they provide. To assist this further, we have compiled a list of LGBTQ+ affirming resources for you to share with your LGBTQ+ youth. This list can be found at the end of the video, and you should familiarize yourself with these resources so that you can remember to share them with youth whenever appropriate. Ultimately, by evaluating social environments and providing guidance to foster social safety, you can help LGBTQ+ youth navigate the complex social dynamics that shape their daily lives. The approaches here foster a sense of agency and ensure that LGBTQ+ youth are well equipped to seek out spaces where they can thrive and create these spaces within their own lives. And finally, the seventh thing that you can do to better support LGBTQ+ youth is draw upon the youth's resilience, strength, and pride. Fostering youth's resilience and highlighting their strengths is vital when supporting LGBTQ+ youth. It's important to let them know that they have likely developed remarkable coping skills through facing previous challenges. LGBTQ+ youth may experience challenges like discrimination and rejection, but focusing on their strengths and past ability to cope can help them build confidence and resilience. By empowering youth to identify their past successes and strengths, you can help foster hope and equip LGBTQ+ youth to navigate future obstacles better. Encouraging resilience involves recognizing and affirming the ways LGBTQ+ youth have managed to thrive despite adversity. Open-ended questions such as, who or what helps you feel strong when things get hard? Or, can you share a time when you overcame a challenge and felt confident? Questions like this provide opportunities for youth to identify their existing coping mechanisms and acknowledge their accomplishments. Highlighting these strengths can help them reframe their experiences from a place of empowerment rather than victimization. Phrases like, "You've handled a tough situation really well, and that takes a lot of wisdom and courage," affirms their efforts and reinforces their capacity for growth. Promoting self-acceptance and pride allows LGBTQ+ youth to celebrate their identities and view them as a source of strength rather than a source of struggle. Asking questions like, what parts of you are you most proud of? Or, what does self-acceptance and pride look like for you? Encourages them to reflect on the positive aspects of their journey and to recognize their inherent worth. These conversations help youth shift their focus from external judgment to internal validation, fostering a sense of pride in who they are. Phrases such as, "It's impressive how much you've grown through this experience," can remind youth that they do possess strength and resilience. Through discussions of resilience, strength, and pride, peer counselors can create a supportive space where LGBTQ+ youth feel valued and empowered. This approach can help youth see themselves as capable and strong, equipping them with the tools to navigate future challenges while embracing their identity with pride and confidence. Ultimately, fostering resilience and self-acceptance is about helping LGBTQ+ youth recognize that they are not defined by their struggles, but by their courage, their strength, and their ability to grow. And with that, we conclude. We want to thank you so much for being a part of this study. Please guide yourself to the references and resources that we have provided to help better solidify learning here. And thank you so much for watching this video.